democracy's basement to your ears. This is the weekly meeting of the Queen City Improvement Bureau. Each week, the dedicated staff of the Bureau meet to file reports, make recommendations, and survive on water that drips from the boiler pipes into our open mouths as we sleep on a bed of dot matrix printer paper. Maybe one day we'll escape from the subterranean hell that is this basement, but until that day comes, this city is not going to improve itself. So here we stay, improving things. This meeting is now in session.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
30% less Tom Waits this week.
Oh, yes, a little less Tom Waits, a little less Nick Nolte.
Yeah.
Yeah. A little bit of country, a little bit rock and roll. Should we do attendance? Should we mention that? No, let's do attendance first.
Okay.
I've got nothing fancy for attendance this time around.
No.
This is not like some 5-star attendance restaurant.
Right.
Where your name is served up on a silver platter. It's
like a la carte.
It's a la carte.
Is it dim sum?
Is it?
I just write down a name on a card,
That's
and
right.
then it gets handed to me in a bamboo steamer.
Yes, you get it. Yes, it's actually, but it's chicken sauce, chicken feet.
Yeah.
Anywho, you, from what I'm given to understand,
Yes,
rumor is you're Paul Deschênes.
I am.
Excellent. And I, I've heard from times of legend till now,
Yeah,
have been Aidan Morgan.
you are.
All right.
Yeah.
Good. And do we have quorum?
We do not. I'm sorry.
One day.
Yeah,
We don't have quorum, but do we have a guest?
we absolutely do.
Wow.
Yeah, we have Ken Wilson, author, professor. Welcome to the Subbasement, Ken.
Thank you for having me. It's very dank.
It is pretty dank.
Yeah. We like to keep it dank.
Dank is good.
Yeah.
So yeah, we wanted to have you on this week because you've put out a book,
I have.
and it's about a thing that we're interested in, the bypass.
The Regina Bypass.
Yeah, so walking the bypass.
Walking the bypass. Notes on place from the side of the road.
Right.
Not Regina Orbital, which is what I always think of.
No, but that Ian Sinclair's London Orbital is name-checked at least once in the book. How could it not be?
It's a great book. Yeah. As soon as I read about your book, I thought, I wonder if that was an inspiration, and I thought
Absolutely.
Yeah. And the second thing was, I now have to read Walking the Bypass.
Well, I hope you do.
Yes,
Obviously, I hope everybody reads it. But Sinclair, the difference between what I did and what Sinclair did is I walked, like literally on the bypass. You cannot do that in the UK because there are no shoulders, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it would be LA Death Wish 2000 to 10,000.
Yes.
So yeah, I will maybe just to set it up for listeners. What exactly, specifically, physically, did you do to research this? Well, research. I don't know if that's the right word, but
Sure.
to research this book.
Research is a good word. I walked out to look at the bypass multiple times. I walked out in 4 cardinal directions, the extent that I could do that. And then I thought, this highway was meant to serve the global transportation hub, so I better walk out there and see what that's about. So I walked out to the GTH a couple of times, and standing on one of the overpasses, looking down at the mostly empty pavement, I said to myself, you know what? You're going to have to walk this. You're going to have to walk the loop. Like that becomes the end of this. It was the summer of 2020. So a lot of people were out doing their mental health walks because there weren't many other things that people could do. And I spent most of the summer doing this and also just going on long walks to get ready for it. It was about 70 kilometers all told to walk out to Tower Road and then walk the 44-kilometer loop and then walk back down from the interchange on 11. So I needed to get ready for that. And in some ways, I really didn't. I mean, I suffered a lot on the long walk. 2.5 days.
Wow. How did you break this up?
The long walk part?
Yeah.
I walked as far as Highway 6. That was the first day.
Okay.
And I was then I meant to stay out and wild camp, basically.
Really?
There's a churchyard there's a deconsecrated church in Rowett.
Okay.
And I thought, I could stay there. I'll just, wait till it's dark and roll out my sleeping bag and it'll be fine. But there was a dog. Dogs are really bad news if you're doing anything like that. If you're walking, dogs get really angry because you're not supposed to be there. And they're just doing their job, right? Protecting things. The dog was really angry and barking, and I thought, I won't sleep. Even if he's tied up, I'm not going to get any sleep. And then the owner will come out and say, well, what's going on out here? And there were these giant flies that they were like house flies, but they were like mutant house flies that when they would land on me and bite me and leave these bleeding wounds. And it's going to be 5 hours before sunset. And no. So I just phoned home, got a ride, slept in my own bed, had coffee the next morning.
Nice.
But the second night I did stay up. There was a grain bin. It's not there anymore. And I kind of hid in the grain bin, behind the grain bin in a field of peas that had been combined, and listened to the coyotes. And it was really cold. It was like, 3 degrees that night.
Wow.
And that was this. And then the second day, I just finished the loop.
Right. Wow. That's total adventure.
It was fun
around Regina.
Yeah, adventure around Regina. I walked to Wood Mountain to test this idea in 2018 just to see if I could legitimately go on a long walk like that without a support vehicle, and that was way harder.
Really?
Yeah, because it was longer and it was hotter, and I was carrying a lot more water.
Right.
Turns out nobody's home. Often in the country, you go to a house and there's nobody there, or there's a dog in the yard, and again, they're just doing their job, but I don't need the rabies shots and the hassle, right?
Yeah.
And you can't go to an outside tap because you don't know what their well's like.
Right. Yeah.
Right? So I ended up just carrying a lot of water, and water's heavy. So that was a separate one. In comparison, the bypass walk was fairly straightforward.
I know you've walked the Camino in
Yes.
Spain. Yes.
Yeah, that was the first long walk I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I think there might be this impression that you walked the bypass, and these were little, strolls. You did on a little saunter.
That's what everybody's been coming up to me and saying. How about that, Dr. Wilson? Thinks he can walk, but he's just all strolls.
Yeah, but these are more like Lord of the Rings, hobbits on a journey to Rivendell distances we're talking.
Yes and no. Some of the walks, out to the Global Transportation Hub, is, I don't know, from my house. I had a rule that I would walk out to wherever I was going, and then if I felt like it, I would walk back. And if not, I could call home and get a ride. So, I don't know, get out to some of these I could walk out and could walk back. It's not and others, it felt like it was too far. I was tired and my feet hurt. I had any number of excuses, and I would call home and get a lift. Christine, my partner, was really great about coming out to get me. Very understanding.
Nice.
But the whole thing starts actually at the Regina Indian Industrial School Cemetery on Pinkey Road. I like to walk out there once a year and put down tobacco. And in 2020, the grave markers weren't there. They've been installed since. They've aluminum grave markers. And I was sitting there, leaning against a fence post, drinking water, looking at the horizon where there are these silent, colorful semi-trailers just kind of gliding. It looks quite slow because of the distance. And I thought, that must be the bypass. I don't even know what that's about. Like everybody else, I'd seen the construction, the interchanges being built. I didn't understand why they were so far from the city. And I thought, that might be a good thing to study, because my original PhD project was going to be a long walk, and I couldn't do it because of the pandemic. Everything in rural Saskatchewan was shut down, right? And the university didn't want you doing anything that would involve working with people or talking to people because of the risk of everybody getting sick. So that's where I start. And I in some ways that establishes what happens in the book, because I keep coming back to the history of colonialism in southern Saskatchewan and asking myself questions like, okay, there was all this alleged chicanery around the land purchases, particularly on the west side. But what sits underneath our title to property? I mean, I own a house. We've got a deed somewhere. What's underneath that? How is it that the government is able to say, okay, yeah, this is yours now?
Yeah.
And the answer is actually not very much. It's really just kind of an assertion.
Yeah.
Right? The federal crown, when Treaty 4 was negotiated, the federal crown in the treaty document, it says that the First Nations who were there would cede, yield, surrender, and give up their title to their land. But it's what's not clear is whether or not those terms were ever explained in Nehiyawewin, the Cree language, or Nakota, or Anishinaabeg, the Saulteaux language. And it doesn't look like they were.
Right.
So, I could wave a piece of paper in front of you and say, "Oh yeah, sign this," and you sign it because you can't read it and no one's telling you what's there. And next thing you know, I don't know, some awful thing is happening, and the person, you signed the paper though, so this is on you. Right. That's not really negotiating in good faith. That would not be upholding the honor of the crown, which is something the Supreme Court says is absolutely essential in dealings between the feds, or the provincial crown for that matter, and First Nations. So there's that.
Yeah.
The First Nations version of the treaty is that it was a ceremony of adoption. And Harold Johnson, the late Nehiyawê writer and lawyer from La Ronge, in his book, he says that the elders told him to call Muniwak, settlers like us, Kitsuamanawak, which means our cousins. And the pipe ceremony solidifies or sanctifies that adoption. And for them, that's the whole point of the treaty arrangement, is to establish a relationship which is then continued through ongoing connection and ongoing conversation and discussion and renegotiation, which our government won't do, right? No, you sign that. You get $5 a year. That's it.
Right.
You were supposed to get a harrow. Well, you got it in 1877. We gave you some farming equipment. So,
you lose your harrow, well, we're not going to go get you new. Yes.
It's the viewpoints on the treaties. It's not just Treaty 4. It's all of the historical number of treaties are so vastly far apart. And, I find the adoption story much more compelling than the real estate transaction story. Who gives up all their land for nothing?
Right.
It doesn't really seem like a reasonable thing. And there are other writers like Sylvie McAdam, who is also a Nehiyawê, and she says there's no way the chiefs would have done that had they known.
Yeah.
Because they would have had to talk to the women, and there's no record that they did that.
Right.
And contemporary treaty elders, when they're interviewed about this and people read them, the terms of the alleged surrender, they say, whoa. No. That would not have happened. The oral history doesn't say that happened. That is not our understanding of what went on. So that's also a big part of the book, is standing on the side of the highway saying, oh yeah, why do we think we can buy and sell land? What's that story? And it turns out there's a big story there, and there's a tremendous amount of research and discussion, and historians seem to have mostly come around to the perspective of First Nations on this.
Right.
Partly because of Sheldon Krasowski's book, No Surrender, The Land Remains Indigenous, which is about 6 years old now. And that's been, I think, incredibly influential.
Right.
But there are other things, too. I'm standing there, and 2 trucks went by from Bison Transport, and I sort of looked at them and I said, oh, yeah, whatever happened to the buffalo anyway? So I looked into that, and well, yes, we killed them all. Well, we didn't kill them all, but they're coming back. And that's the great part about the bison story, right, is that they are being reintroduced. They don't wander freely anymore, except the herd in Tisdale that got off the ranch and spent the winter wandering around eating, I don't know, like barley or something.
Right.
So not all the stories are terrible, right? Yeah. But I try to use the highway as a place to think, a location to think about southern Saskatchewan and Regina as a place.
Wow. So we're on 91.3 FM CJTR, AccessNow Community Radio. We're the Queen City Improvement Bureau, and we're here with Ken Wilson talking about his book, Walking the Bypass. You're doing this walk, you're getting this like sense of the land, but you're also getting a sense of asphalt and car culture.
Yes.
Like how does that, our ways of transporting ourselves, how did that, you're doing the most primitive form, in quoting marks, primitive form of walking, and our most advanced and also the most destructive is whipping past you at 100 kilometers per hour.
The highway, then, it's a little busier now, I will admit that. I was there with filmmaker Mark Wehack 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
And we walked for a couple of kilometers along the bypass, and it is a little busier. But when I walked in 2020, it was almost empty. It's a great place to cycle, it turns out. Like there were almost as many cyclists as there were motorists. People go out. It's a nice, 70-kilometer loop, right? And if you're a road bike, and it's a nice wide shoulder, and if you ride a road bike, that's a really, it's a great route to take. And it's way easier to do that than to try to ride down a grid road. That's difficult, and truck goes by and throws stones at you, and not deliberately, but it happens. It was very interesting to watch the traffic, to get a sense of what different drivers, how they respond to seeing somebody walking along the side of a busy the highway is supposed to be busy, I guess. Truckers will wave, for example. People driving cars won't. Like the truckers are always like, "Hey, how you doing?" Most of the trucks are not hauling containers, so they're not going to the global transportation hub.
You don't say.
They are going straight through to Moose Jaw to stop, I guess, and get a sandwich, and then carry on to Calgary or Vancouver.
Yeah.
I think that's probably a surprise to the Highways Department, maybe, or maybe not. It is interesting to spend time like that beside a highway. One of the things there is to look at is all of the debris that people throw out of their cars and their vehicles as they go. There's less on the bypass because litter accumulates over time. The more traffic there is and the longer that a road has been opened, the more garbage there is, because it just sort of... It sediments, right? It's kind of like limestone or something. It just kind of accumulates and then turns into this mostly plastic thing. But there were odd things, like I discovered pee bottles are a real thing. Truckers actually do this.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. I walked by lots of those. And actually the copy editor for the book, her husband drives a truck. And she said, oh, yeah, this is a thing. They get paid so little that to stop and get out of the truck and take a leak, that blows your hour.
Right.
So I am not reassured by the notion that the guy in the semi in the next lane is fumbling with his zipper and trying to empty himself at 120 kilometers an hour. I don't like that idea at all. Shoes.
Really?
Who throws a single shoe out of a car? People do it.
And at what?
I don't know. It is such an amazing mystery to me. And I mentioned this in class once when I was teaching, and one of my students said, "Yeah, well, because you're drunk." And I said, but even that, like, why would you? I've never done that. Like, how drunk do you have to be to take off your shoe and throw it out the window? One of the things I saw was, it must have been a stress ball, I don't know, but it was like a model of the coronavirus. It was this thing with spikes coming out. I wish I'd picked it up to take it home. And so much other garbage. A child's wading pool. Wheels, tires, truck mud flaps, like anything that could fall off a truck is there. One of the walks is not actually in the book, but there was about 3 kilometers of blue baling twine stretched out alongside the highway in a straight line. Ooh, I don't get it.
Somebody had a bale of twine on the back of their truck,
and they just
got snagged, and they get to their stop, and they're like, "Oh my God,
it's empty. My twine's gone."
Or maybe they needed to find their way back.
That's possible. I think I called it it is the world's dumbest labyrinth, or something like that. Where's the Minotaur? Well, I can see him. He's
3 clicks.
3 clicks that way. He's on the overpass at Rowett. So to study I'm in a location that is so. I mean, you might think most of Regina doesn't like pedestrians, and you wouldn't actually be wrong on that score. It's a difficult place to walk generally, but the highway is particularly hostile to pedestrians, and the bypass is actually less hostile than like the road up to the Old 11. I guess that's what we would call it. It doesn't have a number anymore. I have walked to Lumsden on that highway. It's incredibly dangerous because the shoulder is narrower and it's just so much busier.
Right.
Highway 6 is dangerous. It's actually busier than the bypass. And so I'm in this location that is just antithetical to what I'm doing. If it could, I don't know, force me away with like the power of putting a magnet, 2 positive poles of a magnet together, and like they just won't go, it would do that. And yet it becomes a place. It becomes something with a story, at least temporarily. It becomes something with which I have a kind of relationship because I'm looking at it, I'm studying it, I'm smelling it. I see the little woolly caterpillars trying to cross the highway. I'm getting hit in the face by flea beetles and grasshoppers. I'm cold or I'm hot or I'm thirsty or I'm looking at something, pipeline infrastructure or something, and I'm thinking, I don't even know what that is. What could it be? What's its function? So that part of it that's the really interesting part for me, is that I'm in this I don't want to say place, but it becomes place. It's what the French anthropologist Marc Auger would call a non-place. It's has no stories, has no relationships, has no connections. And in a way, he's wrong, because if you're there and you approach it in the right way, you will develop connections and relationships, even if they're just brief, even if they're just temporary. And his other examples of non-places, like the departure lounge at an airport, for example. Well, if you work at the airport, like as a cleaner or doing food service or as
Right.
You will learn things about that. You'll have stories. Remember the time that the guy fell asleep and missed his plane over there and then was mad, or this door over here always sticks, or this washroom is the one that always gets dirty and I don't know why. So no place really is a non-place. If you're in it long enough, and if you're taking your time to be there, if you are just driving through, yeah, of course, it's a non-place, because you're going too fast to connect.
Yeah. So we have these, like, as I think about the experience of driving on a highway or on the bypass, it's like watching something on, not even watching something on TV, having something on in the background, right? And it's, until you're actually like walking on something, do you actually experience? Are you actually like, they're like temporally, they're different places, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
One of my colleagues once said something about when you're out in the country, you only see the world framed through the windshield. And I thought, not if you get out of your car. And you can, right? Like you can drive out. Alex Oehler, who is an anthropologist at the U of R, he drives out and just goes for walks on grid roads. They park with his kids and they walk out, and then they turn around and they walk back. And they are experiencing that location without the windscreen, without the windshield, without that sense that you're looking at the world through something that's separating you from it. So that you're hearing things, you're smelling things. The gravel hurts your feet. I mean, I've done a lot of walking on groove roads myself, even in part for this project. And it's definitely something that you experience in a direct, vivid way when you're out in it, walking in it. So yes, it is a lot. Like when you're driving down the highway, it does come across as something that really isn't there. But there are other ways to approach that. Strip of pavement.
Yeah. Cool. Well, we actually have to go to Innovative Revenue Tools right now, but you're going to stick around for the second half.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, and we will go to those right now.
The Queen City Improvement Bureau wants to know, what scares you the most? Zombified rail yard revitalization plans? Uncontrollable mill rates? Residential safety zones? Gasp. Come, face your fears at the Queen City Improvement Bureau 10th Anniversary Show, live, October 29th, 7 p.m. at the Artesian on 13th.
And we're back from Innovative Revenue Tools.
Great tools.
Yes, sir.
Best tools. Sound familiar.
The finest tools on hand.
That's right.
For all of your fixing
Better.
your revenue needs.
Better than cow tools.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, speaking of cow tools, Gary Larson has new Far Side cartoons out.
I heard.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Apparently he's taught himself to draw with Procreate on a digital, on a tablet, and it's said it's rekindled his love of drawing.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Good for him.
Far Side, back from when comics were good.
It's modern. Everything's degenerate now.
All this
modern,
Dilbert. We're just up to our necks in Dilbert now.
Right.
Actually, there's a 50-50 thing coming up that you should talk about.
Oh, man. I live to talk about the 50-50 raffle. 1 ticket, $20. 5 tickets, $40. 10 tickets equals $50. Do you like to win cash and support community radio?
I do.
Ken, is that your thing, winning cash and supporting community radio?
I love both of those things very much.
Excellent. Me too. So, if you, like me, like Paul, like Ken, enjoy winning cash, etc., and supporting community radio, purchase your tickets. You can do it online. Visit accessnowradio.ca/fall5050 or 5050, however you like your numbers. Draw date, November 27th, 2025. Prize value is up to $32,000, and only 64,000 tickets can be sold. So, if you wait too long, you might miss your chance. Don't do that. Yeah, that's it. Do it. Support your local community radio. Win cash. Enjoy.
I've never heard of an online 50-50 before. This is innovative.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's an innovative revenue tool.
I don't have to wait for someone to come up to me with 2 paper tickets.
No.
That's right.
We could if you want.
do.
We could scribble some down for you. And
3:30 in the morning. I'm knocking at you. Ken, wake up.
it's time for the 50-50.
I won a 50-50 once.
Did you?
I did. At Cathedral Village Arts Festival.
That's a big one.
Nice.
It was a significant amount of money.
Yeah.
So it's a legitimate thing, right? Like you actually can win something that is going to be worth your time.
I did not know that 50-50s existed until I moved to Saskatchewan.
It's a big thing here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I same here.
Why is it 50-50 and not 50-50?
That's a good question.
Dialect.
Because we're not in Philadelphia.
Exactly.
So, Ken, the book. I wanted to ask you, how did you go from being a normal person to somebody who
being
goes...
a walking person?
Yeah, to being a person
person
who walks insane distances.
The Camino.
Yeah?
Really.
Tell us about the Camino.
That was the first long walk I went on, and I went on a lot of long walks around Regina trying to get ready for it. It in some ways, if I were to like look back at my life and say, what's the thing that where's the turning point? September and October 2013, walking across Spain. It was, I mean, I can't say enough good things about that experience. I know it's much busier now, especially since the pandemic, and it's more complicated in some ways. And the route I took, which is the route most people do, is so oversubscribed that it might be a better idea to try one of the other routes. If you look at a map of Camino paths across Spain, it looks like a spider web with Santiago de Compostela at the center. It changed everything. I went back to school. I have no intention of going back to school, ever. And I was walking along, and you don't really have to go back to school. You need to focus on your writing. There are all kinds of other things you could do, and you want to keep this walking thing going because, you know what? It's good for you. Mm-hmm. So, and since then, I mean, I've gone on other walks with people, by myself. My friend Hugh Henry, he's a retired museum curator, and he's a visual artist in Swift Current. He used to organize these long walks in rural Saskatchewan. That's where I became intimately aware of what it's like to walk down a grid road, because that's, we would do that all day long. My friend Matthew Anderson has written a book about those experiences called The Good Walk, and it's excellent. He's such a warm-hearted guy, and that comes across in his book. He talks about 3 of these walks. I think there were 6 in total, 6 or 8. I only got to go on 3, but I went on a slightly different 3 than he did. The walk to Wood Mountain I mentioned. I walked through the Haldeman Tract in southwestern Ontario, where I grew up, in 2016, because I wanted to understand physically how much land settlers stole from the Haudenosaunee. And it's a 300-kilometer long strip of land in the Grand River Valley, and that's a lot, it turns out. Like 300 kilometers is a long way. Yeah. So it was the Camino that got me started on this, and then I've tried to keep it up. I try to go on. I don't always get to go on a longish walk every year, but I walk to work and back, and and I write about walking. I have a second book forthcoming next year about just occasional essays about walking. And I'm planning out a third book, which would be about walking on grassland.
Okay.
So you were at home one day and you thought, I need a reason to use the word peripatetic.
Yes, absolutely. I felt that it's weird. I felt called. I thought I knew about it, and I'd heard about it. The writer Andre Alexis used to talk about it when he was on CBC Radio. So I was vaguely aware that this thing existed, but at a certain point I just said, you're going to have to do that. It was the year I turned 50, and it felt like a monumental, like a watershed. And I'd love to go back and walk in Spain again. Mm-hmm. It's getting harder also because of climate change. The summers are getting so hot. Right. The fires are getting so intense. Many of the Camino paths were closed this summer because of wildfire. And the smoke, right? Like, you can't really walk 30 kilometers if you can't see across the street. It's not good for you. So that's really the genesis of all of this.
Yeah. Now, if somebody wanted to start doing this, like my experience of like walking in Europe is that, well, like first of all, like it's laid out, like all of the communities are about a long walk apart from each other because that's how these were laid out. But there's also, like in a lot of parts of Europe, you can legally camp on the side of the road or in a farmer's field, and that's like, a right of everybody who lives somewhere. And there's there's good trails laid out, between places that you can take. I don't feel like we're set up like that. Like, what advice would you give to somebody who wanted to start doing what you do in and around Regina?
Be careful. Walk facing traffic always. Mm-hmm. I mean, what you learned in elementary school is absolutely true. walking on Highway 11 up to Condi, to the nature reserve, and the overpass that comes right before Condi. I wasn't paying attention. I was looking up Cree words on my phone because I was trying to figure out what's the word, like, this is where I saw the child's wading pool in the ditch. And I thought, what would you call that in Cree? Like, I don't know why. A writer named Craig Maud talks about the sublime boredom of going on a long walk, and it does start to, like, you start thinking about all kinds of crazy things. So I'm looking at my phone trying to figure out what this is, and I just happen to glance up, and there's a pickup truck heading right towards me, and because this person also, I think, was on their phone, and they corrected, so I didn't have to leap into the ditch.
It's like, what's Cree for distraction?
That's right. So that's one thing I would say. Like, be really careful. Take water, take sunscreen. Don't go too far. Maybe start out by walking around Wascana Lake a few times, like everybody else does on a nice Sunday afternoon. Or drive out to a likely-looking spot on a grid road. Seven Bridges Road comes down from the valley. That's a nice place to walk. It's curvy a little bit, and there are bridges, and the Wascana Creek is there. There are the nice places to walk. There's the Saw Wet Trail in Lumsden, which is quite lovely. One of the things I'd like to say about this book is I walk the bypass so you don't have to, right? You can just buy the book and sit at home in a nice chair with your cup of tea, and you can read about the experience because it's, well, you know, looking back, I enjoyed it.
Right.
A lot of these things I do.
That's faint praise for the bypass.
Sometimes I will look back and I have a notebook, right? And my memory of one of these long walks is the one to Wood Mountain was like this. I remember it as being, it wasn't so bad. It was kind of fun. And then I look back at the notebook, and it's just like these script. I think I'm going to die. So memory is a funny thing.
Yeah. I feel like, this is something that people should do, though, right? Like, we paid $1 billion for this bypass. $2 billion, sorry. It's a staggering, inconceivable amount of money for that. Like, a road so that people don't have to go to Regina, so that people can avoid Regina. Like, we should be walking it. Because you don't actually experience it. You don't inhabit it if you drive on it every, a couple of times a year. You're not getting your money's worth, is what I'm saying.
No, you're not. I don't know if we can get our money's worth out of that highway. And I'm quite happy to be proven wrong, right? Like, I had my doubts about the global transportation hub when I went out there that summer, and I looked around, and the only thing really moving was a goose. Right. There was a goose, and I thought it was dead. And as I walked towards it, it lifted its head and hissed at me. I thought, okay, so something here is alive. But now it's more active, right? There's more stuff going on. Some of the empty lots have been filled in and so forth. So, yeah, okay, maybe that's going to pay off in time. The highway, I don't know. Maybe we could have done with just upgrading Pinky Road to go to the bypass. To go up to 11, right? I don't know that we needed a loop around. It may take some traffic pressure off Victoria Avenue East. But one of the things I think that we've learned about highways in a lot of different places in North America, not just here, is that you can't build capacity to get out of a capacity problem, because if you make the road wider, then more people will just drive on it because they'll say, oh, it's wide, so I'll just... So... It's called induced demand, and the bypass, surprisingly, has turned out perhaps to be one of the counter examples to induced demand, because it really isn't. That's why people love it, right? I mean, I say this to people, they go, no, I love the bypass, it's always empty. Yeah, that's the point. Yeah, a highway should not be empty.
Yeah.
So two follow-up questions. One is the anecdote of the goose in your book. And if so, can we get Werner Herzog to do the audiobook?
I would love Werner Herzog to do the audiobook. We don't have an audiobook yet. I've talked to the publisher, and It could happen. I mean,
you should read it.
A book about walking should be available in a format that you can listen to while you're walking, right? That was my pitch. I would love to read it, but it's rather a longish book, and I guess it takes a long time to do that. So, but we'll see.
Maybe you could do it into a voice recorder as you're walking.
Right.
Yeah.
And the poor
walking the bypass again.
Walking the bypass on the bypass.
Talking the bypass.
Yeah.
Talking the bypass. I love that, actually.
That could be your podcast.
Yeah.
Just
Talking
putting a
bypass.
bug in your ear on that, yes.
Yeah. Did you have another question?
No, I did not.
All right.
I've got all exhausted by the Werner Herzog question.
All right. Well, we're on 91.3 FM CJTR, Access Now Community Radio. We're the Queen City Improvement Bureau. We're here with Ken Wilson talking about his book, Walking the Bypass. Where can people get it?
You can order it online from University of Regina Press. It will be available on October 30th at the main branch of the Regina Public Library. I have my second launch that night at 6:30. Trevor Harriott will be interviewing me. Oh. I think I'm going to read from it. I'm not 100% sure that that's going to happen. Depends on what the plans look like from the publisher comes up with. If you're in Saskatoon, people in Saskatoon could conceivably listen to this on demand.
Yeah. My parents listen to the show sometimes. So
the copies will be available at the Writers Guild Conference this weekend at the Parktown Hotel. There's going to be a book table there. It's currently not available at Indigo in Regina, which is kind of disappointing, but,
That's how it goes.
Maybe they will get it eventually. If you're on the University of Regina campus, you can drop by the University of Regina Press offices, and apparently they have it available for sale there. Mm-hmm. If you see me somewhere, you can buttonhole me, and I will sell you one. I have my own copies. I'm taking a writing workshop right now online, and somebody in the group sent me a note, said, hey, can I buy a copy of the book from you, and can you send it to me? And I said, yeah, sure. $25 for the book. It's $27.95, so I'll give you a slight deal. And I don't know, $5 shipping, that should cover it. And she transferred me $30, and I packed up a copy and signed it. That's the nice thing. If you get it directly from me, I'll sign it if that matters. And I walked up to a Canada Post outlet. It is not $5 to send a book. It is $20 to send a book. It's like double. Gosh. Wow. And so, okay, well, now I know. And I honestly don't think my publisher charges that much for shipping.
Yeah.
So it's probably better for people to get a copy directly from them. But if you see me in person, yes, I will sell you one.
Brilliant.
Now, I know, and the book's attracted, I think even international attention. I read a review. Was it in Harper's? I could be wrong.
Harper's Magazine published a review in the October edition, the October issue of Harper's, which that was an incredible shock. And Phil Smith, who is a psychogeographer in the UK, he's written an amazing review, like a complete rave. I was shocked. He asked me if I would get a copy sent to him, and I said, oh yeah, sure. And I didn't. I thought actually he would hate it because it's so different from what he does. And he absolutely loved it. He published it on Facebook, which it's good, right? People will see it. So that's nice. Yeah. I'm looking. I'm hoping that it finds an audience. I'm hoping that it gets a positive reaction. So far, I've only heard good things about it, which is good. I don't know. Do people walk up to the author and say, "Hey, man, your book sucks"? Maybe they do.
Throw shoes at you.
They throw shoes from a moving vehicle.
Even on social media, you can find people who will do that for you.
I'm sure. Yeah.
I was going to say, the review, I really enjoyed the review I read. The reviewer bumped a bit on, I think, talk of of the legacy of colonialism and our sort of our own roles as white people in that legacy. when I read that, I'm like, well, that sounds like the sort of stuff that I like. So I'm going to read the book.
That is a big part of the book.
Yeah.
He did say mean things about Regina, which I did not see, right? Like, if anybody out there saw the review and you're angry at me because he said mean things about Regina, this book comes from a place of loving this city and caring about it, not from looking at it from a tower in New York and throwing sticks at it.
Yeah.
Which I was really shocked by the review, because I'm not sure that someone in New York could find Regina on a map. They certainly couldn't pronounce it correctly.
Yeah.
And as far as I know, how often do you hear even Saskatchewan mentioned, like, in American popular media? Tony Soprano said the word Saskatchewan once, but he didn't say Regina.
Chapel Roan mentioned it recently.
That's
in a
right,
song.
Chapel Roan.
We'll never hear the end of it.
No.
Yeah, we're going to dine out on that forever.
Yeah.
They like me. They really like me.
Do they?
Yeah, that was a surprise. I agree, and I thought it was a little snotty about Regina, but I mean, that's hardly surprised at, by that. But.
Yeah. Well, I mean, different people are going to take different things from a book. So, it's nice that the review exists, really. And I don't know if it sold copies in the United States or not, because I haven't seen a statement yet about, like, what our numbers are like.
Right. No Netflix deals coming.
No, not so far. But it's early days, right? It's only been out for a week. So it came out on October 14th. So who knows?
Yeah, streaming the bypass.
Yeah, starring Nick Nolte.
Yeah. That'd be great.
Look at this road. Look at what's bailing time.
Anyways, well, thanks a lot for coming in, Kim.
Thanks for
this
having
was
me.
Awesome. We've got a few more minutes. I just wanted to say I made it out to Master Plan finally.
Yes. Right.
Knocked me out. I was
yeah.
I was really pleased. I know that some people found some of the wonkish stuff, especially in like the second act, a little hard to get through.
Yeah.
And I was like, I wish I was live tweeting this.
Oh, that was great. That was actually the second act. Did you see the Master Plan?
I did not see it.
I think you would really enjoy it.
I'm sorry I missed it.
Yeah.
I heard good things.
Yeah, it's great. It's a lot of fun. Performance staging is great. Actors that some of, like Jaden Pfeiffer and others that we are sort of Regina stalwarts.
Love Jaden's work.
Yeah, he's really good. But the second half, which is much more in the weeds, was far and away my favorite part.
Yeah. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, and there's cake.
Yeah.
So there you go. There was cake in the second act.
For the audience or just for the actors?
Very definitely for the actors.
Okay.
I won't spoil anything, but a cake gets demolished and thrown around in the second act.
Ooh. But the run is done, right?
Yes,
The run
is done. Yeah.
Yeah. I am, I've been to a few plays at the Globe. I was telling Ken before that we started here that I'm not a huge fan of the Round, and a lot of the plays that I've seen there, obviously weren't really, they had a proscenium in mind. Right. When they were written. The Master Plan just seemed to fit that space perfectly.
Yes.
And the use of video was wonderful. And the way that the intro gag that was, like an advertisement on the video screens there, and it kind of bled between the theater director introducing the play and then this commercial, and then the play actually happens, and they all bleed together. I really enjoyed that. Yeah, it was. I was knocked out.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hope you didn't miss any of the play while you were knocked out.
Struck by a piece of cake.
Yeah.
and
I wish I was getting kind of hungry.
Slice. Yeah.
Yeah. So no, it was fantastic, and I mean the story that it tells. I want to read the book now. Although I feel like a lot of the book was in there, right? I feel like there was an actual book lifted and put in. And, that first 20 minutes, that was just so frenetic. And there was the scene where the guy from the consultant who was explaining why
Dan
he loves...
Dautremont, I think, is the
No, Cam.
Oh, Cam Milligan.
The idealistic, urban planner is describing why he loves this plan, and he's tearing up at the end of it.
Yes.
I was right there with him, and I have been suckered by so many of these consultant presentations, and I was just like, it just took me back to, the downtown plan, the official community plan,
yes.
like all of these things that I've been through. So, yeah, that was great.
I agree.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
If you say Jennifer Keysmat 3 times, does she appear?
Yeah, in a mirror. Yeah. She tells you you're doing everything wrong.
She's probably right about that.
Yeah, right. And last thing, we got a live show.
We do. Coming up soon.
Very soon.
Actually, a person I know, I told them it was on, I said, next Wednesday, but they thought it was this Wednesday. And they texted me saying, where are you?
Oh, no.
I was like, well, I'm so glad you showed up. Please come back next week. Wednesday the 29th at the Artesian. Admission by donation. What's the organization name?
It is the Artesian Performing Arts, which is the nonprofit that runs Artesian.
Right. So throw some money in a can for them because they deserve it.
Yeah.
Do you have a guest list that you are releasing yet?
We do, actually. So we will have local City Hall nerd and frequent QCIB guest, Jack Brasseur. Mm-hmm. And we will have our very first guest ever on the Queen City Improvement Bureau, Cassie Ozog.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she was she did zombie preparedness. That was our first show.
Well, and we're going to be getting a 10-year update. How are we doing on zombie preparedness?
Nice.
For Halloween. And we will also have former councillor Andrew Stevens.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Wow.
And there is a costume contest. So please come in costume. There will be prizes for best costume, but also for most on point costume.
And if you don't show up in a costume, I will mercilessly mock you from the stage by pretending that your everyday dress is a costume. So there you go.
Yeah. So yeah, it should be a good time. I hope it's a good time.
I think it'll be a good time.
Yeah.
I'm feeling, and is it my turn to read filthy letters? Okay.
Yeah, it is.
All right. Well, I guess that'll be fun for some of you.
Yeah, and by that point in the show, I will have no voice left.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. So you have to read.
Do you receive filthy letters?
Okay. Here we have a shtick. What are they called?
From NIMBY to YIMBY.
From NIMBY to YIMBY. They're sort of penthouse style letters of. I think about people who get into laneway suites and so on. So,
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That sounds hot.
It is.
It's very hot and very embarrassing. But first year, Paul wrote one that I had to read, and last year, or earlier this year.
Yeah, and we don't get to read what the person has written until you're on stage with it in hand. Yeah.
Wow. I never thought I'd be writing a letter like this.
Yes,
yeah.
I believe that is a line we've used. Yes, but so if you come on Wednesday, you too will. We'll find out.
I will make a point of coming.
Excellent.
But I don't have a costume, so I could come. I've got my Kevin T-shirt, but it's not really a costume. Kevin the Sandhill Crane. Yeah.
Cool.
It's acceptable.
Yeah. I do have confirmation that there are people who have planned out and are wearing costumes.
Wow.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So, anyways, we've hit that point. We're out of time.
Shall we move to adjourn?
I would second that motion.
All right. Motion is passed. You've been listening to the Queen City Improvement Bureau on 91.3 FM, AccessNow Community Radio. Our hosts are Paul Deschênes and Aidan Morgan. Music by Guidewire and Kimberly Fury. Our guest tonight was and still is Kim Wilson, author of Walking the Bypass from the University of Regina Press. What else? We broadcast live 7 to 8 p.m. on Thursday evenings right now, or Monday afternoons, 3 to 4 p.m. That's when we rebroadcast right then. You can find us on accessnowradio.ca, also on our website, queencityib.com. Remember, that's Improvement Bureau, not Irritable Bowel. Stop emailing us. And, that's it. Coming up next, the Record Room, and then music all on through the night. Keep on improving, Regina.